Hi everyone, my name is Teresa. I'm the Visitor Service Specialist at Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge. I'm here with Brittany Chavarria, my coworker, and we're going to take you all on a tour of our Refuge Visitor Center and give you construction and restoration updates. We'll start our time together by acknowledging the land that we stand on and occupy as the traditional and contemporary lands of the Tiwa people. When we are in the space, either virtually or in person, we'll take a moment to reflect on this land with trust, respect, and community.
Hello, my name is Brittany Chavarria, and I am the Visitor Services Individual Placement with Ancestral Lands, completing my term at Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge. Our tour today will be about 30 minutes, and a refuge staff will provide assistance by answering any of your questions in the chat as we move along our tour today. Depending on health guidelines, we hope our visitor center will open this winter or in the spring of 2022. The visitor center will be open Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. As you enter the refuge, the Breezeway acts as a place to rest, use the restroom, and gather information. Our Breezeway walls now have interpretive panels that outline the history of the land and refuge and give information on how to enjoy the space in a fun but safe way. One thing to note is that the facilities are LEED certified, meaning they are healthy, energy efficient, cost saving, and are good for the environment. We'll point out these elements as we move along the way.
One of the founding principles of Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge is to be a community asset. So we wanted to make sure that the space could accommodate large events such as field trips, community workshops, and presentations. Eventually, the amphitheater will have an overview of native gardens and trails. We also highlight native landscaping, which also leads to our LEED certification. Before we head inside, we'll take a look at the refuge land to talk about trails and restoration efforts. The west side of the property is currently closed to public access for habitat restoration. 2 wetland units are being constructed in partnership with the Bureau of Reclamation, and our stormwater well that will run through the middle of the property is being constructed in partnership with AMAFCA. We are hoping both projects will be complete in the fall of 2022, but until then, make sure that you're cautious of construction trucks while frequenting the refuge property.
We are revising our field mural tour loop for future visitor use. The new loop will include interpretive panels describing how our artwork relates to habitat restoration, benches, and brochures. The loop will be 1.1 miles round trip and will be open to pedestrian use only. We will keep you up to date with this project completion. Are you ready to see the inside of the visitor center? Let's go. Behind me, you'll notice the welcome desk. Here, you'll be able to talk to volunteers and staff about your visit, questions you may have, recent wildlife sightings, and upcoming programs. We also will have a digital docent if you prefer to look at information independently. Additionally, we plan to have a checkout system for sensory kits, family field packs, binoculars, and field guides. Since our last refuge tour, we've added our community artwork behind the welcome desk. Each panel describes community members' connections to the Rio Grande Valley. A lookbook was designed to highlight each artist and will be available to look at. Before we head over to the resource library, you may notice the unique characteristics of the wood paneling. The wood paneling is beetle kill pine and is reused material. This contributes to our LEED certification.
Here is our community resource library, where you'll find resources and books about environmental justice and the history of local advocacy efforts. You'll also find our economic and environmental justice strategic plan, developed by local partners such as the Friends of Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge and Los Jardines Institute. We want to make sure that these resources are accessible to you so that you can help us continue just actions moving forward. Soon we'll have artwork along the walls of environmental justice movements around the South Valley and New Mexico that were created by South Valley youth.
To the right of the library, you'll notice a doorway. This is our Center for Careers and Conservation office. We can head in to take a look. Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge emphasizes youth employment and works closely with partner organizations such as Ancestral Lands and Rocky Mountain Youth Corps. This is to make sure opportunities are available to youth in the surrounding areas.
The exhibits have come a long way since our last tour. Through the exhibits, you can learn about the history of the refuge, hear from local community members about their connections to the Middle Rio Grande Valley, and learn about the history of the river, the plants, the animals, and the habitats that will be at the refuge. We'll also have a lounge area where you and your family and friends can hang out and spend time together. There will also be themed activity boxes for families with little ones. Before we head to the multi-purpose room, I wanted to point out the patterns on the windows. The patterns are designed to prevent birds from striking and hurting themselves on the windows. This design also helps to meet our LEED certification.
We are now in the multi-purpose room. This space has tables, chairs, and a projector screen and can accommodate presentations, workshops, and be reserved for community meetings. You also may notice the building has a lot of natural lighting. This reduces the need to use electricity. Additionally, the building also has solar panels as a source of renewable energy that reduces the refuge's carbon footprint. These elements also contribute to our LEED certification. Next, we'll visit the Friends of Valle de Oro's nature store.
The Friends of Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge will be running a nature store and will sell lots of fun items for you, your family, and friends. The hours of the nature store will be determined by the Friends group, but most likely will follow the hours that are open for the visitor center. Next, we're going to make our way outside to the back porch and the pond.
We are now on the porch. When we open, we will have rocking and lounge chairs available for folks to relax and enjoy the view of the education pond and rest of the refuge. The pond includes a short walking loop around its edge. Since our last tour, we've added interpretive panels and landscaping along the edge. Over time, this pond will help to support the education programming for youth in our community. Special thanks to our biology and visitor services teams for help to support landscape efforts around the pond. Now we are in the education building. This space will be dedicated to learning opportunities for students and community members. We can't wait to share this space with you. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We can't wait to see you, your friends, and your family out at the refuge in the near future. Before we end our tour, I would like to give a huge thank you for all the folks who helped to make the Visitor Center possible. Thank you to Brycon and CF Padilla, IDEM, Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge staff, volunteers, and interns, Friends of Valle de Oro National Wildlife Refuge, and our community consultant team. And most importantly, thank you to you all for being a part of the growth of the refuge.